karma is such a terrible thing because it was last week. Keep in mind, that woman is out as a speaker. Last week, before the Republican convention, Debbie Wasserman Schultz tweeted out, "Hey, Reince, I'm in Cleveland if you need another chair to help keep your convention in order." So 1 week later, and what are we talking about? How Debbie Wasserman Schultz is out as a speaker of her own convention.
The irony there, right?
Yeah. Let's see how many other channels talk about how this is a big story.
Oh, they won't. You know they won't.
But think about it. If Reince Priebus was uninvited from speaking at his own convention, you think that would be a big story?
Not only was he not uninvited, he spoke on the biggest day, the last day.
Absolutely.
And what Reince did was he supported the candidate that the Republican voters wanted in office. He didn't choose the guy that was establishment or his friend or whatnot. He was under a lot of fire for that, but he did the right thing by supporting who the voters wanted. That's why Debbie Wasserman Schultz, many people are calling for her to be fired because she did not do what the voters wanted. The voters have chosen, you know, many people like Bernie Sanders. All of his supporters are so upset that she's fixing the election.
Yeah, and everybody, the entire DNC seemed upset that Hillary Clinton wasn't running away with it. It still took him to June to shake Bernie Sanders. So Debbie Wasserman Schultz was on Radio Row when we were doing this feature, and Louis Miranda was said, hey, if you want the DNC chair, she'll speak to you. And she did. And listen to how ironic this conversation seems now.
And so far, do you think that the RNC is going so well there might not be a Democratic convention?
You know, I think you'll see the Democratic convention, which will be unrecognizable compared to the one playing out here in Cleveland. We're going to hear people fully embrace Hillary Clinton, unlike what's going on here in Cleveland, where you have one of the major speakers of the night last night, Ted Cruz, who not only wouldn't even endorse Donald Trump from the stage, but today wouldn't even say he would vote for him. And, I mean, it just demonstrates all week how divided and chaotic their party is.
You know, and the irony is Cleveland was not chaotic. The protest, I think in all there were 24 arrests during the entire week, whereas we just heard from Doug McKelway, they're expecting 30,000 protesters. A lot of them, and I think the Bernie Sanders people have 5 or 6 different permits to go ahead and have protests. And I have a feeling that, you know, this is going to be much more chaotic than what we saw in Cleveland. Well, and it should be, because if you're a Bernie Sanders person and you see that the DNC, who's throwing the party, had their entire hand on the scale against Bernie and for Hillary, I'd be furious too.
Well, we asked Mike Huckabee, Governor Mike Huckabee, who was on our show earlier, what he thinks should happen to Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz is going to be about as popular as a mosquito in Rio. This is a terrible timing for these WikiLeaks emails to come out to reveal that all along Bernie Sanders was right. The system is rigged. It's rigged against anybody who doesn't toe the line of the totally corporately funded DNC top of the ticket Hillary Clinton. Anybody else would have been fired for this. Nobody got fired. This is the kind of thing that will enrage the Bernie Sanders supporters. This is not exactly the way to make them happy and want to pull them together for the ticket.
Well, you know, the person that could pull them together on the ticket for Bernie Sanders. If it's not going to be Bernie Sanders, they said, if you're really worried about losing the Sanders supporters, you're going to go out and you're going to get Senator Elizabeth Warren, because she's a liberal's liberal. But the fact is, they don't like each other, Hillary Clinton and Elizabeth Warren. They have no synergy, and they disagree on everything, especially when it comes to Wall Street. She's enemy number 1 to Wall Street, and that's what Hillary uses to fuel her campaign. Here is Elizabeth Warren doing something she thinks she's doing effectively, and that's going after Donald Trump.
We believe that diversity has made this country strong, and racism, sexism, homophobia, hatred, injustice, and bigotry have no place here. We will never build Donald Trump's stupid wall.
Oh, thanks for being open to all ideas.
There you go.
Donald Trump tweeted this out. Pocahontas wanted VP slot so badly, but wasn't chosen because she has done nothing in the Senate. Also, crooked Hillary hates her.
Yeah. So why was Elizabeth Warren not selected? According to the New York Times, You know, and we looked at Hillary looked at all sorts of people to be her vice presidential candidate. But as it turns out, it came down to politics because Hillary is doing so badly with white males. They decided to go with a white male. And that's why last week, you know, you weren't hearing about Cory Booker or anybody like that, but instead we were hearing about Hickenlooper out in Colorado, and we were hearing of Vilsack in Iowa. We were hearing about Tim Kaine from Virginia, who ultimately got the job.
But Booker was a finalist.
If you are a Bernie supporter, wouldn't you be so outraged with the Democratic Party that you wouldn't vote for Hillary because you'd be so mad at what the party did? The party ignored you guys. The party didn't care what you thought. The party only cared what they thought, and they're the establishment, and they wanted Hillary Clinton. It's no secret that Debbie Wasserman Schultz is really good friends with Hillary Clinton, and all they cared about was getting Hillary Clinton voted, and it's proven in these emails.
I bet you a lot of those people who supported Bernie Sanders just aren't going to vote.
Well, the Bernie Sanders people also, well, a lot of the ones that caused the havoc on the Donald Trump events were Bernie Sanders people, and they tend to get a little angry. We'll see if they're going to
they went to the DNC. They went to the DNC and they said no more of these super delegates. The DNC said we'll listen to you. We'll have a meeting, but they didn't do anything about it. They're still continuing the super delegates. So it's fixed. It's totally rigged.
Well, they won't be worth as much next time. But what's interesting, I saw an analysis, and I want to say it's on the gatewaypundit.com. Bernie would have won the nomination if not for the superdelegates.
All right.
So, and keep in mind, you know, Debbie Wasserman Schultz and the DNC put them in to help Hillary. Mission accomplished.
The system just has to be fair. That's it. Every vote, one vote. That's all it should. That's all that we should do. Everyone should cast their vote, and then whoever gets the most votes, that's who should win.